Hello readers, I'm the Avid reader and today I'm reviewing World War Z, an oral history of the zombie war, written by Max Brooks in 2006. So this is a more realistic version of a zombie apocalypse. Theories of international politics and zombies, that book mentioned this one a lot. If you want to read a book that presents what would be a quasi-accurate version of a zombie apocalypse, you should read this book, World War Z. And it gives many types of perspectives from all over the world. It is given in the form of interviews, so it's basically post-World War Z. So you had a certain number of years of war between humans and zombies, and now it's been about, I think, 10 years since it has died down for the most part, but there are some zombies left still. I think most people have died, and you have had a lot of changes in government. This pandemic thing changed the world in many ways. And there is no main character. I mean, one interview, one person, maybe you meet them twice in total. But yeah, it's an interviewer guy who's writing his book and he's interviewing people and recording it orally for some book he's making. So the pandemic started out in China and it also spread around the world because of illegal organ harvesting. So the Chinese are known for selling organs illegally of one of their minorities. So I think the pandemic spread that way. That's one of the ways it spread. In the United States, you had some company that sold a false vaccine against the zombies called Phalanx. It didn't work. You also had something called the Battle of Yonkers, where the American government went, look, we put all these well-clothed soldiers in New York to fight the zombies, and they put them in a very bad position, and there were waves and waves of zombies. It never stopped. They had to retreat. A lot of the technology that the military has in this book is useless against zombies. A lot of these poison things, different bomb things, they don't have any effect because to kill a zombie, of course, you need to shoot them in the brain. If you don't hit the brain, it doesn't really affect them. Yes, you might chop off one of their limbs, but they can still bite you, and if they bite you, you're screwed. There's also a nuclear war between Pakistan and Iran. So surprisingly not Pakistan and India. And different countries start adopting contingency plans to try to have some people survive at least. It starts out in South Africa with the Rediker plan, which basically says we're gonna focus on the really healthy, fit minority of people and let everyone else die. And Israel, they go under total lockdown, including Palestine, so all the Jews and Palestinians are allowed to come to Israel. And they've got some walls surrounding everything. And the Russian army, they have some mutinies when they're fighting the zombies. But then they turn into some weird theocracy thing. You have these chaplains who go around and they get the job to execute the people who are bitten by zombies because officers and soldiers can't handle the strain of killing them. And with the mutinies, they went, okay, we're gonna make you kill 1 in 10 so you are loyal to us. And Cuba is one of the places that avoided successfully, I think, this zombie thing. So a lot of Americans came over there and they were put in camps, but eventually they were released to do bad work. They led the revolution for Cuba to turn into a democracy. China eventually has a civil war. The Politburo is blown up by a nuclear submarine eventually. The civil war ends and they unite to start killing zombies again. And later on, UN member states assemble in Chile and are thinking, okay, are we going to try to stop this thing or not? And a slight majority, I think, vote in favor of doing this. And the Americans are quite well organized, so they don't have that many casualties from zombies. A lot of them die from disease or kill themselves. There are these things called quislings in this world now, where you have humans that are starting to act like zombies, so they're crazy. You also have these feral dogs, but then on the other side, you've got soldiers that have trained dogs now to help them fight the zombies. And when winter comes, in the colder places, the zombies freeze, but when spring comes, they reanimate again. Sometimes they go away temporarily, but then they come back. Eventually, after years and years of fighting, I think about after 10 years, the zombie threat is minimized for the most part. There are still some of them. You have some voluntary units that are charged with taking care of them, but otherwise they're gone for the most part. But society overall has retrogressed, so you don't have all this advanced technology anymore. And that's the story. You get a lot of individual interviews. It's a bit like a Turtle Dove book, but much more characters. So, how would I rate World War Z? I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. There is some good horror in here. This is technically a horror book, and there's not that much horror in it, but there is still some. And the horrific moments can get quite horrific. One of the opening scenes is quite scary, and some of the other events of zombies and also some crazy humans are also scary. This book is not just interesting because of zombies, it's like The Mist, where you get to see human dynamics in play when you have a pandemic, a crisis in action. There are some slow parts, maybe some boring interviews, but most of the interviews are interesting, and you fly all over the world. You get some in Russia, you get some in Asia, you get several in the United States. You get people who are killing zombies in the sea, you got people who are trying to get away in ships, and since there are no ships left, while they were killed by zombies, you have people in general trying to escape, but most of them are infected anyways, so it's a real disaster. But overall, a great book. This is a great add-on to theories of international politics and zombies, because that book dealt a lot with the global political theories. This one applies a realist lens for the most part. People are really becoming crazy in this situation, and it's understandable. But a great book, so I definitely recommend World War Z. Not necessarily as a horror book, but as a good book to see how politics can change very fast. So this was the Avid Reader's review of World War Z, written by Max Brooks in 2006. It got a 9 out of 10. I hope you readers enjoyed this book review, and I will see you readers next time.